Or you weren't even really thinking?
Man, fuck that. I just wanted to get far away enough so I could get that bitch off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they probably go bad niggas. I don't want to trip all that. I just want to get that bitch off really quick.
Yeah. So I guess the first sentence that you did.
Man, every fucking time I go to jail for a goddamn gun. They took my rifle. Yeah, ARP took it off. So and let me out, bond me out, and went got no.
He was a solid dude. Remember they thought I said they thought I had died, but I was asleep. He went on like a rampage to find me, like. And that's crazy, right? Because the same thing happened to him. People thought he had passed away. Like before he passed away, the same exact situation happened. Now I'm going on a rampage to find him. But he made sure I was good. He calling everybody. He calling all my men, we're black at, we're black at, we're black at.
Those were Joshua Matthews' own words, describing a high-speed chase through Washington, D.C., explaining his strategy: get far enough away to ditch the gun. The 31-year-old rapper, known as Knucklehead, had survived multiple pursuits, multiple incarcerations, multiple close calls with death. But on December 22, 2022, his luck ran out. Matthews was found dead in the backseat of a crashed, stolen Dodge Charger on Beekman Road in South Brunswick, New Jersey. The vehicle had just fled a jewelry store robbery. The driver had escaped on foot, and inside the wrecked car, police discovered Matthews' body, dressed all in black, along with stolen gold jewelry still bearing the store tags. The crash would unravel one of the most sophisticated jewelry heist operations the East Coast had ever seen, a crew known as the DC Jewelry Heist Avengers that had stolen millions across 4 states. But for Matthews, a father and aspiring rapper with over 500,000 views on his breakout freestyle, the story ends in that backseat. This is how he got there. Joshua Matthews was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, but his life changed dramatically at age 9 when his mother made a difficult decision.
Shit, like I was 9 years old and shit. School, I was in school and shit. Pretty much, I wasn't listening to my mom. You know, when a female trying to raise a young nigga or a man, that's something a father figure had to do. So my mom being a female, she couldn't really do it. She tried though. So she like, nigga, you going with your daddy, nigga. Yeah.
The experience of meeting his father for the first time was surreal for the young Matthews. He'd never even seen a photograph.
Yeah. So look, did you know your dad before you actually got on the plane though?
Nah, fuck no, I ain't even know dog. Like, I ain't even never seen dog or nothing. Dog used to send me rockets, shoes and shit. Like, he wasn't no deadbeat though. Like, I just ain't know, she ain't let me know. I was calling somebody else my dad.
When Matthews stepped off that plane and saw his father for the first time, the moment was both awkward and defining. His father asked him if he was hungry, and Matthews, unsure of everything, simply said yes. What happened next became a memory he'd carry forever.
Shit, first thing I did, nigga asked me, was like, home? When I got off the plane, I'm by myself too. He got off the plane, I'm like, he like, you home? I'm like, yeah. The nigga don't look like me nothing. He big, fat, black nigga, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I ain't my dad, she tripping. So he's like, you home? I'm like, yeah. That nigga went and took me about like 3 boxes a piece. So I'm like, how the fuck I'm gonna get all this shit by myself? Yeah.
But the reunion wouldn't last long. In 2010, Matthews' father died from 3 consecutive heart attacks, a devastating loss that would shape the young man's worldview and perhaps influence the path he'd eventually take. Matthews had barely gotten to know the man who was supposed to guide him into adulthood. Growing up in Prince George's County, Maryland, Matthews immersed himself in DMV culture. He became a regular at go-go clubs where he'd eventually meet other artists who would become lifelong friends. One of those connections was with rapper 3-0 Black, a relationship that would deepen when Matthews began dating 3-0 Black's younger sister. The relationship produced a son born around 2015 or 2016 who would become one of the most important people in Matthews' life. 3-0 Black remembered Matthews as more than just his sister's boyfriend. He was family.
Nah, I don't stop nothing from happening. Y'all gonna do it, y'all gonna do it. If my sister stand in the house with me and she in the next room doing her thing, I ain't gonna go in there and say, stop. I might take a walk or something, but I ain't going in there stopping it. They ain't got nothing to do with me. She grown. All my sisters grown. They pay their own bills. They do their own thing. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
But 3-0 Black also recalled moments that hinted at the dangers lurking in Matthew's world. There was the time Matthew showed up at the family house with something unexpected in the diaper bag.
Get close, yeah, because in the go-go's and the clubs, we'd dab each other up, we'd talk right quick, then we'd both go out separate ways. But when they got together, he was coming to my house, chilling, bringing the nephew over. I mean, this nigga came to my house with a gun in the diaper bag. I go get a pamper for him, and he got a gun in the diaper bag. I'm like, yo, get this out of the house, nigga. You don't need this in here, this all family in here. He's like, oh no. He used to be tripping.
Matthews was building a reputation in the DMV rap scene under the name Knucklehead, a nickname that referenced his earlier days. The name stuck, though as he matured, he became ambivalent about it. His breakout moment came with a freestyle over Future's 51 Nights, a raw performance that captured the attention of the local hip-hop community. The video would eventually rack up over 513,000 views on YouTube, becoming what fans still call a DMV classic. He released mixtapes like Benefit of the Doubt on Spinrilla and collaborated with artists including Black Fortune on tracks like Ion CM. Matthews wasn't just making music for fame, he used his platform to give back, organizing a free show with 3-0 Block and Mike D'Angelo to raise money for a young girl's funeral in DC, a gesture that showed the compassionate side friends and family remembered most.
Favorite memory of him? Yeah, a little girl passed away in DC. And like me, him, and another dude, Mike D'Angelo, we got together and like put like a show together to like raise money for her like funeral and stuff like that. And me and him performed in the jump because we was like two of the hottest artists in the area at the time. So we don't want no money. Everything we make go to this little girl. So yeah, that was a cool memory. We got a lot of memories. Being in go-go bands, getting on mics together, like stuff like that.
3-0 Black described Matthews as someone who spoke with wisdom beyond his years, almost like a preacher. His advice would stick with you long after conversations ended. When 3-0 Black and his sister went through rough patches in their relationship, Matthews offered guidance that reflected his own complicated view of love and loyalty.
He told me like, I'm putting it in my words, because he really talked crazy. Like, he talked like a Floridian mixed with a DC person at the same time, so it's kind of weird. But basically, like, you find like a female you really mess with, and you love her, like, stick it out with her, thug it out with her, no matter what. Like, you might do what you do, she might do what she do, but other people basically gonna do the same thing. You gonna go do the same thing with everybody, so I might as well just thug it out with you.
But beneath the music and the fatherhood and the words of wisdom, Matthews was entangled in street life. He had multiple incarcerations for gun possession and high-speed chases, a pattern that suggested deeper involvement in criminal activity than his music persona revealed.
This last time, what was the reason you got locked up?
Man, every fucking time I go to jail for a goddamn gun. They took my rifle. Yeah, ARP, took it off. So, and they let me out, bond me out, and we ain't got enough. Kill.
So you got locked up for having a gun. How much time you get?
They sentenced me to 24 months. I was suspended for 12, mandatory 12. But that's a cop. I ain't even take that shit to trial. Bitch done told on me. They, you know that tip line 1-800, woo, you see somebody with a gun, bitch dropped the tip on me, told on me. Man, fuck, I'm gonna take that shit to trial for it. You know what I'm saying?
One of those arrests involved a high-speed chase through DC that Matthews described with startling casualness during an interview.
Hell no, and it was a fucking high-speed chase.
Oh, you took him on a high-speed chase?
Hell yeah. You thought I was finna, man, okay, I like to hit at their ass, shit. And I said, nah, they got goddamn, it's 3 cars, trucks and shit. Nah, they got more bullets than me, fuck no.
So look, though, how long did the chase last?
Shit, if you familiar with the city, the shit started over there on Heddenburg, off of there by the Wendy's and shit, and wound up catching the nigga over there southwest. Yeah, over there by the what's that? Soccer stadium. Over there around the corner from the stadium and shit, them houses and shit over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
When asked what he was thinking during the chase, Matthews revealed his mindset wasn't about getting away completely. It was about creating enough distance to ditch the weapon.
So what was you actually thinking though when you was taking him on the chase though? Did you think you was gonna get away, or you kind of just like were just trying to get low, like you weren't even really thinking?
Man, fuck that. I just wanted to get far away enough so I could get that bitch off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they probably went bad niggas. I didn't want to trip all that. I just wanted to get that bitch off really quick.
Matthews spoke openly about death being the thing that scared him most, that had damaged him most throughout his life. The loss of his grandmother hit particularly hard.
What happened with your granny?
My favorite girl in the world. She's from Florida too. I was up there and shit. We shooting that free video. And I'm sitting in the car and shit. My eye was fucking with me too. Smoke, I should have knew something was going on. My eye was on some shit. So I'm thinking I got shit. I got motherfuckers blowing in my eye and shit. So I'm like, fuck. Man, probably like 10, 20 minutes, something later. They called me and shit, like, yeah, crying and shit. Ooh, she just died, ooh. I said, hi. They said, she just dropped dead in the grocery store. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, so that was my favorite person in the world, like.
Matthews advised young people about the realities of street life in a way that suggested he understood the consequences but felt trapped by circumstances. During one interview, he offered surprisingly practical advice.
Man, y'all need to slow y'all fucking road. I'm gonna tell you some cool shit. Some cool shit, go get you a job. Job that pay goddamn $20 an hour. If you can't get it, $17, $15 an hour. Smoke stack your money. Buy you a car. Buy you a spat. You with it? That's cool shit. And you be able to do whatever you want to do when you want to do. You with it? And you ain't got to rob nobody, nothing. You with it? So you fuck your money up, you in the street, you fuck your money up. Now what you gonna do? What you gonna tell the plug? Come on, man, y'all the niggas, man, slow your road, dog.
But Matthews himself wasn't following that advice. While building his music career and raising his son, he was allegedly becoming involved with a criminal organization that would make national headlines. While Matthews pursued his music dreams, a sophisticated criminal enterprise was taking shape in the DC area. The mastermind was Trevor Jonathan Wright, a 34-year-old DC rapper who performed under the name Taliban Glizzy. Like Matthews, Wright had relocated from Florida to DC early in his life and was trying to balance a music career with criminal activity, but Wright's operation was far more organized and ambitious than typical street crime. Federal investigators would eventually dub Wright's group the DC Jewelry Heist Avengers because of their coordinated, bold operations. The crew consisted of 15 to 16 members, many with ties to the DMV rap scene, aged 21 to 45. Their specialty was violent, armed takeovers of South Asian-owned jewelry stores, specifically targeting businesses that carried 22 to 24 karat gold. The choice of target was deliberate and calculated. High-carat gold has exceptional melt value and can be sold anonymously because it lacks the branding or serial numbers found on watches or diamond jewelry. The crew could steal millions in gold, melt it down into bars and fence it in cities like Miami without leaving a trace. The crew's methods were consistent and brutally efficient. Members would scout stores days or weeks in advance, studying layouts, security measures, and inventory. They used stolen vehicles for getaways, often obtaining cars through armed carjackings. During the robberies, 4 to 6 members would enter wearing disguises and masks, brandishing firearms to control employees and customers, then use sledgehammers to smash display cases. They'd shovel gold jewelry into bags and flee in high-performance vehicles ready for high-speed pursuits if necessary. The operation spanned 4 states: Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida. Between January 2022 and August 2023, the crew executed at least 9 confirmed armed robberies, though some sources suggest the number could be as high as 11. The estimated total haul ranged from $3.2 million to over $4.7 million in stolen gold jewelry. The first documented robbery occurred on January 7, 2022, at Yassini Jewelers in Falls Church, Virginia, bringing in $300,000 to $400,000 in gold. The crew was just getting started. By June 10, 2022, they hit Virani Jewelers in Eastland, New Jersey, stealing $1.2 million worth of jewelries. The robberies grew bolder. On October 25, 2022, the crew executed their largest single heist at Paradise Jewelers in Powderson, New Jersey, walking away with $1.93 million. After that score, Wright reportedly bought himself a Rolex watch, a purchase that would later be highlighted by prosecutors as evidence of his lavish lifestyle funded by violent crime. November brought 2 more hits. On November 10th, the crew robbed Baral Jewelers in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, stealing approximately $1 million. On November 27th, they hit Sarah Emporium Jewelry in Jersey City, New Jersey, taking over $400,000. The crew expanded south in December, robbing Keshek Jewelers in Jacksonville, Florida on December 6, 2022, stealing approximately $700,000. Wright was arrested leaving a DC nightclub shortly after this heist with $17,000 in cash linked to the Flora job. But the crew's next robbery, just 16 days later, would end in tragedy and ultimately lead to their downfall. The crew had been operating with near impunity for nearly a year. Federal authorities, including the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, the ATF, FBI, and local police had been building a case, but the robberies kept coming. Wright lived lavishly, flaunting proceeds on social media while continuing to release music. Other crew members included William Hunter, known as Ill Will, who would eventually be sentenced to 19 years, the longest sentence of any crew member. There was Franklin Hunter, nicknamed Gino, who served as a driver. Robert Sheffield, called De Real Lifa, acted as a gunman in multiple heists. The crew also included Timothy Conrad, known as Twin, Lamont Marable, Devon Johnson, DeCarlos Hill, and several others whose names would appear in a federal superseding indictment. Where exactly Joshua Matthews fit into this organization remains somewhat unclear from public records. He was never formally indicted because of his death, but federal documents and news reports indicate he was present on at least 1 robbery as a passenger in the getaway vehicle. But federal documents and news reports indicate he was present during at least 1 robbery as a passenger in the getaway vehicle. Whether he was a full-fledged member of the crew or became involved through connections in the DMV rap scene isn't definitively stated in available sources. What is certain is that on December 22, 2022, Matthews was in that stolen Dodge Charger when everything went wrong. December 22, 2022 started as just another job for the DC jewelry heist Avengers. The target was Chintamani's Jewelers, an Asian-owned store located at 6 Veronica Avenue in Franklin Park, New Jersey. The store sat along Route 27, also known as Lincoln Highway, in Franklin Township, Somerset County. It was the kind of establishment the crew had successfully hit before, a family-owned business with inventory of high-carat gold jewelry. That afternoon, crew members entered the store following their established pattern. They brandished firearms to control everyone inside, used sledgehammers to smash display cases, and grabbed gold jewelry. No one was injured inside the store, but the crew's escape plan was already falling apart. The getaway vehicle was a black Dodge Charger stolen from Maryland. Behind the wheel was 32-year-old Franklin Hunter, known as Gino. Joshua Matthews, 31 years old and dressed all in black, was in the back seat. At least one or two other crew members were also in the vehicle as they sped away from Chintamani's jewelers. The Charger headed south towards South Brunswick in neighboring Middlesex County. Whether police were already in pursuit or Hunter was simply driving recklessly to put distance between the crew and the crime scene isn't entirely clear from reports. What is clear is that around 4:26 in the afternoon, Hunter lost control of the Dodge Charger on Beekman Road in South Brunswick. The crash was catastrophic. The Charger slammed into 3 occupied vehicles, causing a multi-car collision. The other drivers sustained minor injuries and were treated at local hospitals. But in the back seat of the Dodge Charger, Joshua Matthews absorbed the full impact, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Chaos erupted in the moments after impact. Hunter and the other occupants fled the wrecked Charger on foot, reportedly with assistance from people who arrived at the scene. They left Matthews' body behind, along with stolen jewelry still bearing tags that would link the crash back to Chintamani's jewelers. First responders from South Brunswick Police, Franklin Township Police, and Emergency Medical Services arrived to find Matthews deceased in the back seat, still wearing all-black clothing and possibly a ski mask, consistent with the crew's robbery attire. The vehicle contained evidence that would prove crucial to investigators: the stolen jewelry with identifying markers, possibly firearms, and the stolen car itself registered to someone in Maryland. The crash scene told the story of a high-speed escape gone wrong. Skid marks, debris scattered across Beekman Road, and the damage to multiple vehicles painted a picture of the Charger traveling at excessive speed before Hunter lost control. For Matthews, who survived multiple incarcerations, high-speed chases with police, and the dangerous streets of DC, the end came not in a shootout or a prison cell, but as a passenger fleeing a robbery he may not have even participated in directly. 3-0 Black learned about Matthews' death from his sister, Matthews' longtime girlfriend and the mother of his child. The loss hit hard. 3-0 Black recalled their last conversation before Matthews died, a discussion about relationship issues between Matthews and 3-0 Black's sister. There had been tension, and they hadn't spoken for a couple of months. That made the loss even more complicated. 3-0 Black had always known Matthews lived a risky lifestyle, but the reality of his death still shocked him. The rapper remembered something chilling. There had been a false alarm about Matthews' death before it actually happened. People thought he died, but he'd just been asleep. The rumors spread through their circle, with Matthews' mother calling everyone in a panic. Matthews went on what 3-0 Black called a rampage to find 3-0 Black and make sure he was okay. Now, the same scenario had played out in reverse, except this time, it was real.
He was a solid dude. Cause you remember last time I came up here and I was telling you about how, they thought I said they thought I had died, but I was asleep. He went on like a rampage to find me, like. And that's crazy, right? Cause the same thing happened to him. People thought he had passed away. Like before he passed away, the same exact situation happened. Now I'm going on a rampage to find him. But he made sure I was good. He calling everybody. He calling all my men, "Where Black at? Where Black at? Where Black at?"
For Matthews' young son, who was 7 or 8 years old at the time, the loss was devastating. But 3-0 Black made sure Matthews' legacy lived on through the child. The boy performed his father's entire set at a memorial concert, taking the stage to honor the father who would never see him grow up.
We just did like, cause my nephew is his son, and he's supposed to have a show. What's today? He's supposed to have a show like 4 days ago. His last show that he booked. So my nephew performed for him his whole set. So that's another like memory for real. Like, I know he was looking at him crazy.
3-0 Black had unreleased music with Matthews, songs they'd recorded years earlier, but he made a conscious decision to not release them after Matthews' death, feeling it would be exploitative.
Nah, cause I feel like that'd be fake on my behalf. Like, I hate when people drop songs cause people die. Like, if it's supposed to have been out, you should have dropped it while he was here. I guess, cause this song old, they old for real. I feel if we just did the song a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, we got songs from years ago and stuff like that. So, nah, that'll be fake on my behalf, but I'm definitely gonna use them jumps. It's like an intro when I'm getting on stage and stuff like that. I'm gonna keep his name alive. He's here no matter what.
Instead, 3 Black used snippets of Matthews' voice as intros for his own performances, keeping his friend's memory alive without commodifying his death. Franklin Hunter initially evaded capture, but was eventually tracked down and charged on January 26, 2024, more than a year after the fatal crash. He was already detained in DC's Central Detention Facility on unrelated charges when New Jersey authorities filed their case. The charges were severe: first-degree aggravated manslaughter, second-degree vehicular homicide, third-degree causing death while driving unlicensed, second-degree aggravated assault for injuries to the other drivers, third-degree receiving stolen property for the stolen Dodge Charger, plus burglary and theft charges related to the Chintamani's robbery. Hunter's case highlighted the interconnected nature of the charges. He faced New Jersey state charges for the crash and Matthews' death, while also being implicated in the federal case against the broader robbery crew. As of today, no public updates on Hunter's trial or potential plea deal have emerged, suggesting the case may still be ongoing or resolved quietly, while federal proceedings against other crew members take precedence. The death of Matthews accelerated the federal investigation into the DC jewelry heist Avengers. The crash provided physical evidence linking the crew to interstate crimes, and investigators could now connect dots between multiple robberies across 4 states. On August 17, 2023, federal prosecutors unsealed a superseding indictment charging 16 individuals with conspiracy, Hobbs Act robbery, armed carjacking, firearms offenses, and money laundering. Matthews was not among those indicted, his death preventing any posthumous charges, but the indictment named his alleged accomplices: Trevor Jonathan Wright, William Hunter, Franklin Hunter, Robert Sheffield, Timothy Conrad, Lamont Marable, Davon Johnson, DeCarlos Hill, Andrew Smith, Jaylon Brown, Antonio Tate, Delonte Martin, and Avery Fuller, and others. Legal proceedings moved swiftly. Most crew members pled guilty rather than face trial. Trevor Jonathan Wright, the alleged ringleader, pled guilty on September 16, 2025, admitting to conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, brandishing a firearm during a crime of violence, and unlawful possession of a firearm. In his plea agreement, he took responsibility for orchestrating 3 major heists: the June 10, 2022 robbery at Verani Jewelers in New Jersey that netted $1.2 million, the October 25, 2022 hit at Paradise Jewelry in Powderson that brought in $1.93 million, and the December 6, 2022 theft from Keshek Jewelers in Florida worth $700,000. He also admitted to possessing a machine gun in Miami on May 27, 2021. On January 13, 2026, U.S. District Judge Christopher R. Cooper sentenced Wright to 219 months in federal prison, which equals 18 years and 3 months, followed by 4 years of supervised release. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, who was confirmed in August 2025, delivered remarks about the sentencing that highlighted the irony of Wright's lavish spending.
Hi everyone, it's Judge Jeanine. Trevor Anthony Wright may not be a name that you're familiar with, but Taliban Glizzy may be. He's a DC rapper who has now been sentenced as a result of a prosecution by my office to 219 months in jail, which is a little over 18 years. He was charged with robberies of various jewelry stores up and down the eastern seaboard from Florida to New Jersey. He and his crew would go into these jewelry stores with sledgehammers and guns and all kinds of things and break up cases, threaten employees, and he stole about $3.2 million in jewelry. So here's the good news. You don't have to worry about these kinds of robberies anymore, and you don't have to worry about Taliban Glizzy anymore, because he won't be around for a good 18 years.
Other crew members received sentences from 57 months to 228 months. William Hunter, who admitted to participating in 6 robberies, received the longest sentence at 19 years. Robert Sheffield got 13 years for his role as a gunman in Pennsylvania and Virginia heists. Timothy Conrad got 14 years for his involvement in 4 robberies. The sentences reflected the violent nature of the crimes and the trauma inflicted on family-owned businesses. Remember at the beginning when I told you about Matthews reflecting on his childhood? Those early moments when his mother sent him to live with a father he'd never met set him on a path that wound through music, fatherhood, incarceration, and ultimately that fatal afternoon in New Jersey. The choices made along that path, influenced by poverty, street culture, loss of guidance when his father died, and the desperate pursuit of success, all culminated in a crashed Dodge Charger on Beekman Road.
So you little niggas, stay the fuck, man. Listen, man, you ain't got nothing to prove, bro, to nobody, bro, but yourself, that you can really do something and be something better than what you is right now, my nigga. Real shit.
What did you think about this tragic case? Let me know in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this one.